That's X. Come here, boy. Yeah, good boy.
To some people, everything is a game. Getting ahead in business is a game. Love is a game. Life itself a game. But even these devil-may carers have something they take so seriously that they have no sense of humor about the conduct or results. And when you find out what that is, you can really pull their chains. Welcome to Breakfast Time with Tom Bergeron, Laurie Hibbert, and Bob the Puppet. Sitting in for Laurie is our celebrity co-host du jour. My name's Jim. I'm the announcer. Say good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Tom, and welcome to a very special edition of Breakfast Time. We have a wonderful celebrity co-host du jour whom I'm going to introduce you to in just a couple of moments. But in addition to all that, the apartment is just abuzz with activity. Later in the show, the music of heavy metal band favorite Anthrax. Who for the first time on television will be playing acoustically. And Danny Bonaducci is with us. Also, we have about 50 of the top performers from the Northeast Quadrant of TCI Cable, some of the affiliates, and they're having to put up with a number of speeches in the ballroom so far this morning.
In the few hours remaining to me, I'd like to tell you now is the traditional time for you to take the loose change and money from your pockets and pass it to the nearest cameraman for me to collect at the end of the meeting.
And you can see Bob has their rapt attention.
Ask not what you can do for breakfast time.
Yeah. So we'll get them out of their stupor in just a little minute, because they're going to be able to meet our celebrity co-host du jour. Orson Welles, no less than Orson Welles, said about this woman that she's the most exciting woman in the world. Among her musical repertoire is the song, I Want to Be Evil. And she personified evil as the best of the Catwomen in Batman. Take a look.
Oh, I glow at the thought of that garment.
Well, how much can we get for it on the open market?
There is no open market for it.
Then what good is it?
We sell it back to Queen Bess. It's a national Belgravian treasure. Her country will pay anything for it. She's due to arrive here today for a series of private audiences in Gotham City. If she returns to Belgravia without it, her people will be up in arms. In other words, we are in the catbird seat.
Would you join me in welcoming, boy, we've been looking forward to this all week, Eartha Kitt! Do it on the spine, too. Oh, yes. I can die happy now. And you've got fingernails.
Oh, do I have fingernails, darling?
Oh, man. You folks amuse yourselves for a couple hours, will you? How about another hand? Eartha Kitt, our celebrity co-host is here. Come on. Come on over to the couch with me here. And you met Bob?
Hello, Bob,
The
darling.
lovely Bobby.
May I do what?
Hello, Bob, darling.
No, no.
Mon petit chou.
May I try something?
You know what?
Yes.
This is for Bob mostly. She can really hurt us. You know that?
Yes, I know.
There are so many ways that we can be damaged goods by the end of this show.
It's one of the reasons we love her so much.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a treat to have you here.
Thank you.
Now, when you were here last, I was out either on vacation or feigning some sort of illness, and so John Davis was here. And you were jumping all over him, too.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
so fickle.
I still feel the excitement of jumping on him.
John, J.D. is safely ensconced in Sperry, Oklahoma this morning. Johnny, are you there?
Yes, I am, Tom.
Now,
Hi, Eartha.
Hi.
I don't know why they've separated us.
I know.
do we
I'll go to every moment.
do we have the clip? We don't
What's
have
that?
the clip? All right, you know what? We're going to relive that classic moment when your body bruises were first inflicted.
That's right.
All right, we'll get back to you in just a minute, J.D. Just a
All
minute.
right.
I want to first welcome you, and also Sue Skinner, one of our producers, picked this up for me, which is out now. I believe it was when it came out in hardcover. I interviewed you in Boston. I'm Still Here, Confessions of a Sex Kitten. You're going to keep doing that, aren't you? Eartha Kitt, I was reading so much about you, too, last night, and a lot of it I think you probably know at home, going back to your political involvement in 1968, when at the White House luncheon you spoke out against the Vietnam War, and Lady Bird Johnson got all upset, and it really blacklisted you, in a sense, in this country for some years, didn't it?
Yes. But isn't it marvelous now that McNamara has come out with his book, in essence, that said she was right?
Yes, yes, Robert McNamara's book.
Too bad he didn't say it 25 years ago.
Well, I don't think he had the guts to say it 25 years ago. Maybe his job was in jeopardy. But at the same time, the lives of our boys were in jeopardy, and he thought more of his side of the picture than he did of the boys of the United States, which I really resent.
Is there anything that you don't have the guts to do? I mean, I just think of you as this fearless persona, and certainly given your don't do that with the man. Or then again, go ahead.
Yes, at the same time, Tom, I was just thinking that I have been more or less, the way I am for some odd years, and now that I'm going to be 68 on the 26th of January, I can do anything I want. I don't have to be afraid anymore.
All right, dim the lights. Everybody else out of here.
Could somebody call my wife and just chat with her on the phone for 2 hours? Get out of this alive. You write so eloquently in now 3 autobiographies about your life, and you start really as Eartha May, not Eartha Kitt. Is Eartha Kitt sort of invented in a way by you?
Well, I think the public sort of invented her because as Eartha May, I'm a very frightened person.
Really?
And I have been accused of being maybe mean and cruel and all of this sort of thing. Because if I walk into a room and strange people, which I'm afraid of, I'm always afraid of meeting strangers. And therefore I act...
You came to the wrong apartment.
Well, here I don't feel that at all, because everybody seems to be so warm and friendly. But as a child, being an abused child, and I know everybody's talking about abused childhood these days, but I wrote about it in 1954, I think, and they didn't go into it in so much at that time because they were very much afraid of libel suits. Because those people were still alive, and they may still be, but whose names
You know, it's
they are, we
interesting
don't
that you
really
mentioned that, because Sheena Henkin, who is, we affectionately refer to her as our FX shrink, later in the show is going to talk about why we as a country seem to be addicted to self-help books. And I know you'll be talking to her about, there's Sheena right there. And here to me, Sheena, I think here in Eartha Kitt is the example of someone who classically pulled yourself up from all kinds of adverse conditions by your own bootstraps, if you will. And now she uses those bootstraps for other things.
Along with my clothes.
Yeah, that's right.
Tom, I think she refused to be a victim, isn't that right, Eartha? And that's what matters, refuse to be a victim.
Yes, I've been in positions like that many times in my life where I realized, maybe it was from instinct, I don't know, because I've never grown out of my animalistic instincts. And I'm very happy about that, because then I have never really realized that I should follow the rules and regulations.
Well, in that case, you are in the right apartment. Eartha Kitt, our celebrity co-host du jour. You know, since we saw you last time, since yesterday's breakfast time, Eartha, Americans spent an average of $1,506,849.32 on those very self-help books that we were alluding to earlier. Now let's go back to J.D., who is pining away for you in Sperry, Oklahoma, at the Oklahoma Farriers College. If it's true the clothes make the man or woman, it's also true that the shoe can make the horse. Right, J.D.?
That's right. Unlike what we saw yesterday.
Yes, from the news.
But, yeah, we're out here at Oklahoma Farriers College, and a farrier is someone who makes and shoes horses. And we're going to meet a man, Bud Beeston here, who runs the college and owns the college, and he is a master farrier. This man's been doing it for 54 years. He definitely knows this stuff, and he has students from all over the world who come out here to learn how to make and shoe horses. And if you look back here, you also learn how to be a blacksmith, and we're going to take a look at what it's like to be a farrier and what goes into learning how to do this trade.
All right, good enough, J.D. Thanks a lot. And we had sort of a shoe theme yesterday too. We had Jill Sobule, who used to work for Barney's, and Anthony LaPaglia, the actor who used to work for Florsheim. So it's Shoe Week for all species. Cassandra Dans is out in Madison Square Park. Now, Eartha, come over here. I'll show you. This is sort of our backyard.
Yeah.
Right across Fifth Avenue. This little corner of Madison Square Park, we have turned into... You like it? We've kind of dressed it up a bit over the past... how many weeks has this been? 6 weeks?
Forever.
We've been doing it.
Over there, Tom, wasn't that Andy Warhol's studio?
Was it? Was that Andy Warhol's studio? Was it really?
Yeah.
And JFK Jr.
I remember having lunch there with him one day.
Did you really?
Very exciting, my dear. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Do that again.
Okay, tell me about the garden.
So anyway, we've spent about, 6 weeks, Cassandra, right? And this is the final chapter, turning this into the breakfast time oasis.
At last, it's freezing out here.
What are we doing today?
We're doing one of the most important things you can do in
here.
gardens. Oh, okay. Never mind, I found you.
She was looking at us in the window.
Yes, I was looking up there.
Yeah, well,
I was
that's,
looking in real time.
the eye
But
contact
now I'm
there.
looking at you now. What we'll be doing is one of the most important things you can do in a garden, which is garden seating. Where to sit.
Sounds good.
Great.
Wherever you hang your brother's home, I guess. And Patricia's out there, our FX personal trainer, to talk about what to buy your athlete during the holiday season. Right, Patricia?
That's right, Tom. A lot of people have athletes on their Christmas gift list. What we've done is we've put together some great gift ideas. There's a lot of really great sports items on the market right now, so we thought we'd pull some together and show those people at home what they can get that sporty person on their Christmas list.
Sounds
this
good.
Christmas.
And I think we have the tape of you and John Davis.
Yay.
Going all over. This is from a
my
previous...
floor mate.
Your floor mate. Here we go.
Performing at the Carlisle Hotel through February 18th.
Yes.
Per, one more time, please.
It's wonderful to have someone with a sense of humor like that, because you can play with them like
The memories, the memories.
Now, it takes more time to get more than just a scratch out of you?
Oh, no, it depends on how I feel about you immediately. That's what I mean about my animal instincts.
Yeah.
You see, I never lost them. And sometimes I do feel a little animalistic.
It's the mulch outfit. You're not crazy about the mulch outfit. That's what it is, right?
I happen to like this.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, here's where you get to get the news going.
Oh, we're throwing the news?
Yeah, we'll throw it right
We're
out.
throwing the news.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vernon Shaw taking a quick look at what's making headlines this Sunday, December 3rd. From Spain, President Clinton has given the official go-ahead to send U.S. troops to Bosnia. Now, Clinton has authorized deployment of 700 soldiers trained in communications and logistics as part of the NATO advance team. The bulk of the 60,000 troops NATO forces are sending is expected to arrive after signing the peace treaty later this month. In Miami, a doctor who amputated the wrong foot of a diabetic patient and the toe of another patient without her consent was fined $10,000 yesterday and barred from practicing medicine for 6 months. In Washington, at least 100 evacuees from a flood-drenched state are expected to return home today as rivers recede below flood stage. They are the last of those forced from their homes last week by the flooding of every major river west of the Cascade Mountains. The Red Cross estimates about 1,700 homes have been damaged. And finally, in New York, several hundred buyers gathered at the National History Auction yesterday. Items on the block include a 500-pound meteorite sold for over $32,000 and a collection of dinosaur dung that went for $632. That's a quick look at what's making headlines. Now here's Jim to take a look at what's happening in the world of weather.
Check out all of the spiky yellow balls. Look at it. Only Dallas and Chicago are showing fluffy, and Boston are showing fluffy cotton. Spiky yellows everywhere else. Of course, they still have lingering showers in the northwest. But things have been this is about as clear as you can get things in this great nation of ours. Let's look at those high temperatures. And as you can see, what happens is it looks like way off in the western states there, somebody squeezed all those colors together. But look how they squirted out to the east. in actually pretty neat pattern there, and even a little 80s down in Texas and Florida there. Come out, and that's the weather.
We did a remote from a nudist camp in Oklahoma, and Jim, in solidarity, took off a lot of his clothes, too.
Oh, did you enjoy that, Don?
Oh, it was liberating, Eartha.
It was nauseating to us.
He didn't take them off. The finance company came and took them back.
That's right. Bob is over by our visiting viewers, so let's have the tacky graphic. Every day on the show, we invite viewers of Breakfast Time from around the country to join us, and we have with us from Calverton, New York, Jeffrey Glazier. Jeffrey, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
How do you do, Mr. Glazier?
It's a pleasure to be here. Nice to meet you.
Could you give him a welcoming scratch? I mean,
This kind of man you don't scratch, darling. You just hug a lot.
Oh, thank you.
And hopefully he becomes Santa Claus.
Yes.
Well, you know, they brought a gift for Toys for Tots for us, too. Yes, they did.
We brought a gift for the
wonderful.
Toys for Tots today.
We've got that in the lobby. By the way, if any of you are finding yourself in the neighborhood of 212 Fifth Avenue, where we have our FX apartment, and you want to drop off, as our guest did today, a Toys for Tots contribution to go to worthy kids who otherwise might not have any toys for the holidays, that's a great thing. Thank you very much.
And cash for the puppet is good, too.
Cash for the puppet. Didn't the TCI affiliates cough up enough?
No, they're still coughing.
Now, you watch us on TCI of Brookhaven, right?
Yes,
do we have a TCI of Brookhaven person here? Do we?
It's time to meet your cable connector.
Will the TCI of Brookhaven affiliate come over here, please? Because apparently Jeffrey has some questions about his bill. Jeffrey, while they're coming over, introduce us to the people you brought with us.
This is my brother-in-law, Michael, and my cousin Daphne, who's visiting us from England.
Hello, Daphne. How are you, darling?
Good to have you here. What questions do you have about your bill, Jeffrey? Because we have several people from TCI of Brookhaven here.
Well, it's not so much a question about my bill, but I'd like to know why every once in a while my cable picture just goes out for no reason.
Good question. Good question. We want answers.
Anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes to 15 minutes.
I'm sorry, on behalf of the network, they're here for their day off, so they can't do any work.
Okay.
All right. Your cable company caving on live television.
Depending on a tree, can't they? That a tree grows.
That's right. That's right. A tree grows in Brookhaven, apparently. Let's give the folks at home a little background, Jim, about Calverton, New York, where Jeffrey's from.
And Calverton is named after Bernard Calvert, who was the first postmaster in the area right after the Civil War in 1868.
Was he disgruntled?
That's right. Well, think about it. It's famous for growing cranberries, and Grumman built fighter planes there for World War II, so that's where the expression, hey, like them cranberries, Hitler, comes from.
Oh, yeah.
All of that from Cranberry, New York.
Hey.
Cranberry, New York.
Yeah.
Calverton.
That they would name an area after a postman rather than somebody else who might be like a doctor or an anthropologist.
But we also have the Calverton National Cemetery out there.
Well, there you go.
Well, you wouldn't want to name it
All
after
the
the cemetery, would
veterans.
you? Or is the cemetery named after the area?
Good question. I don't know.
Here's another question, Jim. How do people with cemeteries and other notable things in town join us?
They write to us at Breakfast Time, P.O. Box 825, Madison Square Station, New York, New York, 10159-0825, or they call us on our Sprint-sponsored 800 number, 800-FXFXFX1, or fax us at 212-802-4208, or email us at fxbreakfast@delphi.com. Let us know when you're going to be in the area, and who knows, you might be invited in for breakfast on Breakfast Time.
And all of our visiting viewers this month get a Polaroid talking one-step camera. Terry's going to take a picture. Hold on that picture because we want to get Danny Bonaducci in it. Danny Bonaducci! Come on in, yet another Happy American with the Talk Show. Here's the song that we're singing. Come on, get happy. A whole lot of loving is what we'll be bringing. You want to talk to Jim? You want to find out what else?
Okay, toss to Jim. Jim, what's going on?
Patricia showcases some great sports gifts for the holidays. Jason showcases the computer game 11th Hour, which is when I buy my gifts for the holidays. Coming up on Breakfast Time.
Who won? Who lost?
It's 22 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom. Eartha Kitt sitting in for Lori, Bob the Puppet, and me, Jim. I am the announcer. And here's Tom and Eartha and Danny Bonaduce.
Yes. Oh, hello, Danny.
Good morning. How are you?
Hello, Danny.
Did you cry yet?
You're wonderful. I adore you.
Why, thank you very much.
But, you know, I don't mean to talk on top of you, Danny, but at the same time, I'm still very curious about this area called what?
Calverton. Here, let me go.
Why would it be named after a postman? What did this postman do? Did he, you know what I mean? The postman always rings twice?
Maybe he was the first person to move out there because it's very isolated.
Do you think maybe...
Don't you have anything more interesting to say than that?
Here's my theory, Eartha. Calverton, New York was named after a postman because the postman delivered more than just the mail. Yeah?
Possibly.
That's right. That's right.
Hello. But we have a post lady at the moment.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Is she delivering as well?
Yes.
No.
All right. How are you? I'm going to leave you here with the postman people, Eartha, for a second, because I'm taking Danny down to the game room. I should also mention, if you're just joining us, it's an action-packed show. We got Danny here. Eartha Kitt is our celebrity co-host du jour. While Lori is out this week, we're having different celebrities every day. And we've got the music of Anthrax.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Gee. For the first time ever, acoustically.
That was it. That was the acoustic version.
Nice booking, by the way. Anthrax and the guy from the Partridge Family. Interesting booking there.
Best 2 out of 3 falls. So we're going to go look at some computer games, and then we'll be back in just
See you in a minute.
Oh, you're taking Danny away.
God bless. Just give me 1 minute. I've had such weird fantasies in the back.
Don't touch me then.
I meant about you.
And also we have, wave to your friends, everybody, some of the best TCI affiliates in the Northeast. They've won a magical mystery tour. They didn't know where they were going to end up, and they got here and they said, here? It's good to have you here. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Yeah, we have TCI, yeah.
Come on, be more excited about being you.
This place is so cool.
Isn't this great? 6,500 square feet. We got a bedroom. We got a ballroom down here.
What would a place like this in New York cost?
Well, it's
$1 million bucks,
it's actually rent control.
That's
isn't
right.
It, Jim?
$600 a month.
Yeah, wow. In here, we have Jason Rich, who is our video game expert. Danny. He's also with Teen Talk Communications. And we have some of our TCI people in here. Good to have you folks here.
Hi.
Now, this is one of those, sure, have a seat.
Thanks.
This is one of those It's a Small World segments. Because we're going to take a look at a game that's going to hit the market soon. It's a sequel to The Seventh Guest. Right?
Yeah.
It's called The 11th Hour.
Yep.
And you're going to show us the game and also review it.
Yes.
Now, what makes that interesting is that the guy who wrote this game and The Seventh Guest was Jason's 6th grade English teacher.
Whoa.
Yep.
All right.
Wait a second. He wrote, what did he write? He wrote The Seventh Guest and what else?
And this one, The 11th Hour.
Oh, so he's kind of a 7-Eleven guy.
Oh, thank you. He writes software and you get you a Slurpee, too.
Put that magazine down.
Was he a good teacher, this guy?
Yes, he was.
All right.
All right. But is he a good game writer?
Excellent game writer.
Right.
Seventh Guest came out in 1992.
Show us a little bit as we
Okay,
as
basically, it's a kind of a horror mystery type game where, see the hand in the middle, the skeleton hand?
Yeah.
You're in a mansion and you have to drive around the mansion, explore the mansion, solving puzzles.
Can you make it move?
Yep, there we go.
Because this is like a movie.
Neat.
Isn't this cool?
Yep.
This is a three-dimensional, fully interactive movie mystery.
And this is Seventh Guest. This came out a couple of years ago.
Right.
And at the time, this basically set
See,
a
that
new
means don't go in there,
standard for
right?
CD-ROM technology. It launched the whole computer game business.
Right.
And
I love that.
for the last couple of years, it's been a best-selling game. And now Virgin Interactive and Trilobite, the companies that developed this, have finally released the sequel.
And your 6th grade English teacher, Matt Costello,
Oh, that's the guy right there.
Matt's right here. How are you, Matt?
How are you doing, Tom? Good to see you.
Now, given that you've got a successful game here and the challenge of a sequel and the dangers of the sophomore slump, how did you approach the 11th Hour?
Well, Seventh Guest is a classic gothic horror story. The idea was to bring this, into the future, 70 years in the future, give it a contemporary edge. And also the technology Trilobite came up with is going to blow people away.
All right, show us some of what, because this is it over here with the spinning eyeball.
I've been struggling with this puzzle. I'm just about to solve it.
The Peter Falk section.
I was wondering if...
Loaded with puzzles. We're moving the books. We've got to get the green books on one side, the red books on the other side. I think I got it knocked. And if I can do this, I can find an object that's hidden in the library.
you!
Which is going to curse me.
Whoa!
All right,
Oh, I
let's
love
see
this
if I can.
eyeball thing.
Okay, I'm turning around the library now. I'm looking for
Look at the
a
light, look at
bottle
the
of
light.
tonic water. If you see
Holy
it, Jason,
smoke.
let me know.
What are we looking for?
A bottle of tonic water.
Oh. Take it a
I
twist
know
of lime
that's
in
the
it.
object.
Spencer?
Yeah. What's a Grecian urn?
There's the telescope.
$20 a day.
There's the flashlight. There's no electricity in the mansion.
Now
so
there
people...
are actors.
There it is. Where is it? There it is right there, man.
Thank you, Donnie.
No problem, I'm here for you. We're looking at rooms, but there are also whole sections with actors who filmed their roles and...
Okay, let me grab that.
Yeah.
They shot this like a movie. There's over 60 minutes of full motion video.
Yeah.
Lots of 3D computer graphics.
And now I get a sample of the video.
Okay.
The
So this
beginning of the
isn't
story.
like a Doom game, which is my fave.
No.
This isn't a shoot 'em
There's no
up. This is
pointing
a
and shooting.
This
There's
is
a lot of
explore and
strategy
discover.
involved.
You know, Tom, you should know gamers have been waiting for this game like in a feeding frenzy.
And
Really?
this
Yeah.
is total state-of-the-art technology.
When does this hit the stores?
Today.
Today, it hits the
tomorrow.
stores. It's the sequel to The Seventh Guest, The 11th Hour. How does your 6th grade English teacher rate as
Very
a
good.
sequel writer?
He did well.
All right. Matt
Not bad
Costello.
as a student.
Oh, good. Do we have a shot of Jason in the 6th grade when he was with Matt Costello's class?
Yeah.
There he is.
Oh, he's lovely. He's lovely.
What, me worry?
Jason Rich from Team Dog Communications, our FX video game
Yay.
expert. Thanks, Jason.
Cool.
Now back to mine. I'm happy to say it's celebrity guest co-host today, the one and only Eartha Kitt. Eartha.
Yes, thank you, Tom. But, Sheena, I was always very interested in these kind of games because I wonder if it teaches the kids to use their own intelligence, their own minds, or does it just make you concentrate?
Well, it certainly helps kids to increase their concentration. I'm not sure it does much to increase their intelligence or ability to think.
And I also think it teaches them to be couch potatoes.
Yeah.
I think
They're
you're
not
right.
doing anything physical.
I think you're
Patricia is out in the Madison Square Park. Are you there, Patricia? You have new
Here,
toys
I
that
am
we
here.
should play with this season?
We have some great new toys for that sports person or athlete on your list this year. First of all, if you call Artemis and get a catalog, they have great Pamper Yourself sports baskets that have creams for sore muscles, great candles for relaxation. Anybody on there actually would really love that basket, so you can call Artemis for a catalog. Then we have Victor here for that rollerblader. We have these things called blocks. You put them on the bottoms of your skates, so when you go indoors or you're walking upstairs, you just slap these on. You don't have to take your boots off, and you can walk around indoors. He also has this little wrist wallet, so while you're rollerblading, you put your keys in there, you put a little change, maybe an ID, and then also the Walkman carrier to carry your Walkman around your waist while you're rollerblading.
Oh.
It's a great gift for anybody who's a rollerblader. You can find any of this in the department store. And then we have Estelia, our TCI representative, helping us out here for that jogger. These are great stocking stuffers. All of this reflective gear, reflective headband so that you don't get hit if you're jogging at night. And these little stickers that are reflective. And you can put these around your waist, around your body, around your ankles, so that if you're jogging at night or in the darker weather, you're going to really want to use those. Stay safe. Put some of those in somebody's stocking. They're going to love it. Then we have Spencer here helping us out with the stretch and step and stretch. It's a great stretch for your calves. So anybody who's a runner,
Want to ask you to empty
any
your pockets,
athlete,
sir?
they're going to need to use these. That's a great little
That's
gadget
cool.
gift for that person. What else do you have, Spence?
Want to watch? How to watch? I got two watches. I got a triathlete from Ironman from Timex, multi-function, Indiglo, glows at night, different stopwatches, lap counters, stuff like that. And then there's also another one that's Indiglo as well from Freestyle Predator. Does the same kind of thing, both around $50. And in addition to that, have nifty little color TV for about $160. Multi-channel, multi-function, keeps you busy.
Great picture, too, on that.
And in addition to that, we have a little weather-resistant camera. That's from Olympus. It's about $180 or so that you can take with you. It's light. It's about 6.5 ounces, so you can take it on your camping trip.
Show them my favorite. This is amazing.
This is great. Can't wait to activate this because my hands are cold. This is a little pack, and you just hit this little button here like this, and then within seconds, this whole thing fills up.
Whoa.
And it keeps you warm for about 5 hours or so, and you can recharge them as well. Has little instructions. You can put them in the microwave and put them in the hot water and recharge them. 130 degrees. Keep those hands toasty.
They're absolutely amazing. You can get big ones, you can get little ones. You can also get these boots to keep you warm there by UGG. They can get you warm in under 30-degree 30 below weather, they're amazing. You can get them in any department store. They're great for keeping you warm. We have gloves, waterproof gloves by Petsuzumi. We have the Truckee boots also for playing in the snow, keeping your feet nice and warm. All of these gifts are great for anybody who's going to be in the cold weather, wants to stay out there and stay athletic. Nice little stocking stuffers and gifts for that sports person on your list.
Yes, Patricia, send me the boots. I love those.
Okay.
How do you stay in such great shape?
I'm a jogger, darling. I keep running away from men like you.
Boy, what did I say, Bob? What did I go wrong?
You said everything. Everything.
Well, maybe I can win her over by showing...
married men I run
that's
away
true.
from.
I am married, and you have some lovely grandchildren. Can we
Yes,
get a
I
camera
do.
in here?
I also have a lovely daughter.
Yeah, where is she? Where's
Where
Kit?
is my daughter?
Kit, come over. Come within camera range, Kit.
Priscilla, come and
There
see
she
here,
is.
mine shot. This, my
Where?
daughter, just turned 34, didn't you?
Thank you.
I was going to guess 32, but...
And these are the this is the new.
Yeah, this is the new one. She's only...
And my 5-year-old.
Oh,
congratulations. I have a
I
1-year-old.
have a 1-year-old.
Yeah,
They're
my
great.
1-year-old daughter.
Oh, how cute.
Danny's just turned 57.
Yeah. I keep running away from men like him, too.
Here's a man nobody runs from, Bob Keeshan, Captain Kangaroo, with a thought for the day.
Albert Yorgi said, "Discovery is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought."
That's a nice thought. You used to watch?
I used to watch him all the time.
You know what used to really annoy me? About the captain, when he'd bring the keys in, right, and the music was playing, and he'd start to hang them up to stop the music, but then he'd jerk you around. And he'd pick the keys up, and you remember?
Yeah, I loved him because he had a marvelous sense of humor.
Yes, move on. Really, it's been 30 years. Get over it.
What else is coming up?
We're looking on the Al Bundys of the animal kingdom. Master horseshoeing coming up on Breakfast Time.
Oh, very.
It is with Personal FX, the collectible show, every day at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, only on FX.
It's 22 minutes to the top of the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom. Eartha Kitt sitting in for Lori. Bob the puppet and me, Jim. I'm the announcer. And here's Tom and Eartha and Sheena and Bob and Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah.
Sheena just started.
Our exercises.
No way, no way. Oh, my God.
Holy smokes! I'd like to see Tom do that.
Holy moly.
Whoa!
See how hard that is to do? Dude, try that.
No thanks. Come on. How did you do that? Come on. By the way, the scheduled show, where's the rundown?
That was amazing.
All right.
Oh, my God. How did you do that?
You just have to concentrate if you're capable of that.
Yeah.
All right, I'll back out of your way, dude.
Can you show me how to do it again? Just one more time? All right, the coffee cup. Thank you.
Concentrate.
Let's get the
You
ice.
start, I'll get your feet, man. Oh, my God.
Wow.
All right, if you get anywhere at all, I'll get your feet.
Get the ice pack ready.
You hold the table down?
Wait a minute. All right. Come on, go. No way! That was amazing! Damn!
No. Wow.
Gee, I wonder if Andy can do that.
Watch how unimpressed I am with peer pressure. No. All right.
We got this fax from Phil Talski in Sunnyvale, California. To Tom, Jim, and especially Bob, I just wanted to say that I think you are all so lucky to get to work with Eartha Kitt today. I had the pleasure of seeing her perform in San Francisco a few weeks ago. She is one of the classiest, most charismatic performers that I have ever seen in concert.
Oh, my goodness.
Eartha Kitt, our co-host before.
And she can do that thing.
I know. And even if she wasn't, like, really talented, man, she's strong. Let's take a look at some of today's top stories.
Hello, everyone. I'm Vernon Shaw, hanging out with you this Sunday, December 3rd, with a quick look at what's making headlines. President Clinton is on his way home from Spain after signing an agreement to eliminate all tariffs and barriers on information technology by the year 2000. Meanwhile, in Baltimore, an anti-abortion group, Rescue America, says it didn't break the law when its members took the client's list out of the trash of an abortion clinic. The group says they plan to write to the women and offer counseling. In Mississippi, 2 suspects have been arrested in connection with last weekend's burglary of the home of missing millionaire Jacqueline Levitz. Authorities do not believe the burglars have any connection with the suspected murder of Levitz. In Leeds, New York, a group of Mohican Indians protested yesterday over plans to turn a historic Indian site at the foot of the Catskill Mountains into a Walmart discount outlet. Now, the rural land contains a wealth of Indian artifacts. Walmart says it'll conduct a study before deciding what to do. In Oklahoma, high school education regents approved funding for an endowment professorship named for University of Oklahoma law professor Anita Hill. Now, the professorship will focus on researching sexual harassment and women's rights issues. Now, there's no word on who the first recipient will be. And finally, congratulations to FX's own Jane Wallace, who won for Best Program Interviewer at last night's Cable Ace Awards. That's a quick look at what's making headlines. Now, here's Jim with the weather.
Check out all of the spiky yellow balls. Look at it. Only Dallas and Chicago are showing fluffy, and Boston are showing fluffy cotton. Spiky yellows everywhere else. Of course, they still have lingering showers in the northwest. But things have been this is about as clear as you can get things in this great nation of ours. Let's look at those high temperatures. And as you can see, what happens is it looks like way off in the western states there, somebody squeezed all those colors together. But look how they squirted out to the east. In actually pretty neat pattern there, and even a little 80s down in Texas and Florida there come out, and that's the weather.
You can't complain about Hugh. He got one girl off the street. You should be satisfied.
That's true.
She's almost a millionaire today, isn't she?
Right. That is. Now, somewhere in the format here, there was something we were supposed to... John Davis. John Davis is with us in Sperry, Oklahoma, at the Oklahoma Farriers College. J.D., welcome.
Hey, Tom. You know, when you have horses that work or race, shoeing is very, very, very important. Like these Percheron draft horses, these beautiful horses, if they aren't shoed properly, they're not going to work properly. And especially when you have these multi-million-dollar race horses, they better be shoed properly, because it could mean a win or a loss, and of course millions of dollars. And people spend $2 billion a year on farrier services. And that's why a lot of people come here to Oklahoma Farriers College to learn how to do it properly. And they learn from the master, Bud Beeston here. Bud has been a farrier for 54 years. And you started 54 years ago when you saw an old man doing this and you felt sorry for him and you said, let me help you do that. Teach me how to do that, right?
That started the whole thing.
That started the whole thing. And now he has students who come out here. The courses are 8 to 20 weeks. And what's going on right here? This thing looks like it hasn't been shoed in a while, Bud.
He hadn't been shod in a long time. We're cleaning the outside off, getting ready to trim the hood, the hump, and nail the shoes on.
All right. Now, by the way, after you shoe a horse, you say that it's been shod. It's a shoddy business, but they like that. So anyway, one thing that Bud is known for are his specialty shoes. If a horse has a problem with its hoof and it needs a corrective shoe, you're the man to come to. Now, to begin with, show us how a horse is shod properly, Bud.
The proper way to shoe a horse, the main way, keep the shoe in the middle of the leg and your angle straight from the ankle down.
Okay, so if you look at this,
JD?
What's that?
I said, where's the rest of that horse?
It's gone on, Tom. It's gone on.
Yep.
So if you have ones like this one, if you look, show them how that one isn't proper, right, Bud?
This one here, you look, notice the angle here, you look how the ankle has dropped back. You got to keep everything straight in line.
And just like human feet, I mean, sometimes you walk on the back, you walk on the side, and Bud will make a different shoe depending on the problem that the horse has. But usually, most horses are fine, and you just put on like a standard horseshoe, right?
Right.
Okay, and part of the school and the curriculum here is blacksmithing.
JD?
And Bud, of course, teaches blacksmithing as well.
He's pretending to be deaf again.
If you will, show us what you're doing here, Bud. Tell us what you're about to do.
Who's all those guys? We make all of our shoes here out of round rod. And the reason for that is so they learn how to beat out metal flat. And then we go from there and end up making a horseshoe like this right here.
Okay, do your thing. And we're going to talk to Philip over here. Philip's another one of the instructors. Yes, Tom.
Bertha had a question for you.
Is the shoe that he puts on any horse the same? Or
Is a shoe that you put on any horse the same, or do you have different shoes for different horses?
No, first of all, they can't all be the same size because no horse has the same feet as the next horse.
And what's the
You
difference
also
between
have to have
shoes
shoes
on
to meet the
cement and
horse's
dirt?
need. Whether he just take a flat shod shoe like what he's going to make here for you, or if it's going to be a situation where you have to have a rim shoe, corks and heels, something of that nature. They're different depending upon what the horse can be used for.
So, Eartha, I think the answer is no.
But J.D., what
Okay,
about
what's Bud doing here? In a nutshell, tell us what he's doing.
You can bring the heat on the metal up to a temperature where he can flatten it out easily. The old saying about strike while the iron's hot, this is where it's coming from.
Okay, and as you can see, the students here are watching Bud intently. When we come back, we're going to meet some of the students. They have students from all over the world who come here to learn how to be farriers. And we're going to come back and talk to some of the students a little bit later.
All right, J.D., thanks a lot. You want to do the ceremonial toss to Jim?
Yeah. I'm doing a ceremonial toss to Jim.
Coming up, Eartha Kitt interviews Danny Bonaducci. Eat Your Hearts Out Worldwide Wrestling Federation. Coming up on Breakfast Time.
Fall in love every afternoon. The Pet Department, every day only on FX.
Sinbad here with Polaroid's talking camera is gonna find a smile on my main man, Ebenezer. Watch this. Yo, Scrooge, bah humbug, baby. Yo, Scrooge, bah humbug, baby. See, it even makes a Scrooge smile. The Polaroid talking camera, instant smile.
Fancy wrapping isn't necessary when you're giving...
12 minutes to the top of the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom. Eartha Kitt sitting in for Lori. Bob the puppet and me, Jim. I am the announcer. And here's Tom and Eartha and Bob and Danny Bonaducci.
And guess what? If that's not enough, we've got some of the finest TCI affiliates crawling all over the apartment, stealing our food. And we've got the music of Anthrax coming up. Their first time acoustic. They're in the building and craving breakfast. Throw them some raw meat. Anthrax is here. We have a word of the day now. This is something Jim does every day. And he just sort of enlightens us and educates us and improves our vocabulary, right?
That's right. Now, everybody, calm down. Stay right where you are. Now, let your minds go blank, and your faces reflect that, okay?
That's easy, okay.
That's right. And now, without changing your expression, I want you to think of the sexiest person in the room right now. Well, you're all perfect examples of maestro.
Listen up.
No. Demure. And demure means modest in manner and reserved, and yet there's a hint that something else is going on inside that modest in manner and reserved expression. And
I think I know what he means, and it's dirty.
That's right.
I think so, too.
That's why they say don't ever trust a demure woman.
That's right.
She's got something else going on inside. That's very interesting.
Should we ask all these other people to leave?
I'm so excited.
I'm going to leave you two alone for a while.
Chicken.
All right, Danny.
Yes, ma'am.
I've known you since you were a kid.
Yes, ma'am.
And since my daughter was a kid. Because we used to watch the Partridge Family all the time.
Thank you very much.
You were adorable then, and you are adorable now.
Thank you.
Because I've also seen your talk show.
Oh, thanks.
And I think it's very interesting, and it's very interesting, and it's very interesting. And,
thank you.
And now that you're on breakfast, whatever it is with us, what have you got to say for yourself?
Wow. The tough questions are coming pouring right out. Well, I appreciate that you used to watch the old show, although I had very little to do with that show. The new show, Danny, it's a talk show with my name on it, and interestingly enough, I have very little to do with that, too.
Well, bravo, Danny.
Thank you. I just show up, you know, I think it was Spencer Tracy who said, show up, know your lines, and don't bump into the furniture. And I've got 2 of those down.
Okay, great. Now, is there any difference between your being a star at that time than there is today in the business?
Yeah, there's a distinct difference between me being on television in the 70s and being on television in the 90s. And the biggest difference, and the one I appreciate the most, is I get to keep all the money this time. And I find that just fascinating.
Well, whom did you have to share it with before?
Oh, almost everyone. You know, Reuben worked for free. We all just, you know, slid Reuben a little money under the table. No, I was a very young man, and it all went into a trust fund and that kind of thing.
Oddly named, huh?
Yeah. Went into a mistrust fund. And,
your money's here somewhere.
That means you don't have any of that today? You're not living on that?
No, not at all. When I turned 18, there was some money, but unfortunately I was really drunk. And I'm serious, too. I went through a very expensive little habit for a while there.
What turned you on to that? Insecurity or what?
You know, who knows, really? I've been asked that question a lot. And, you know, because I do a lot of the daytime talk shows until I had my own. I used to do a lot of, you know, I've done Geraldo more times than Manson. And I'm funnier. And, you know, it'd be me and Todd Bridges and Dana Plato and Eddie Munster. It was like a bad Love Boat reunion. And we'd...
Wait a minute, don't go away from that so fast.
And everybody would, you know, down the line, it was like, oh, my life all turned to hell because of television and stuff. And I must admit, when I was getting high, it wasn't with the Brady kids. It was, you know, with the neighbor and the people that... So I have no idea. I really think that television is a fine and respectable and time-honored profession.
Did you have a family that you grew up with?
No, I'm just spontaneous. I grew up with a very nice family, 2 brothers, a sister, a mom, and a dad. It was a very healthy home, and to be honest with you, I'm the only one in my family that ever, you know, drank to any success or had a drug problem or anything like that. They're all quite educated, nice people in my family.
Did you have a feeling that success...
Kind of makes me a geek, doesn't it?
Did you ever have a feeling that success maybe you didn't deserve, or...
Yeah, I guess. In a way, I don't think anybody ever deserves the kind of success you get in showbiz. The money is absurd.
I resent that.
You know, and I don't make a lot of money from television. I really don't, but I'll bet you I make 3 times what a teacher does, and that's just not right. I'll take it. Hand it over. But I think, you know, I think there's a disparity, and I think anybody making the kind of money and getting the kind of accolades we get, you know, maybe feels a little guilt about that. I mean, I don't think it's right that we make more money than the police or, you know, professors.
I agree with you, because in some ways, but I do feel that when you become a name, that you can attract the goodness that you want to transplant into the society.
I think that's another area where is you are compelled to then do some better works.
But do you feel that when you became a star that you became an idol of some kind, that you have to live up to a certain kind of expectations according to the neighbors, according to the children that you're going to be talking to?
I guess when I was an actual star, if I was ever a star, I was 12. And, you know, so I didn't really give it that kind of thought. Had I gone on to achieve some kind of success in adulthood, which I did not, and again, back to that same old thing, a lot of people say, do you think being on the Partridge Family stereo, you know, you were wedged in so you couldn't go on to work more, and that's what ended your career. And the truth is, I was an adorable little redheaded kid, and I went on to be a fat, drunk adolescent. There's just not a huge call for that.
But you're all right now. You're all right now.
Thank you.
Is there a clip coming up, darling?
There is? Of what?
Yes. Yes, darling.
Please rub me more. God, I love you. We are back, and we're talking about the ex-love of talk show host. But before we play the game, I would like to finish that story because I never told you what your father and I talked about. Vicky, my high school sweetheart, and I came home from the prom, fell asleep. Her dad kicked in my door in the morning. And where did he make me meet him? I had to meet him somewhere.
International House of Pancakes.
At IHOP. That bastion of family confrontation. And we went to IHOP, and he told me if I was not prepared to marry you, I was not prepared to sleep with you.
Right.
Then he told me about his gun collection, and I moved on. That was a very, we did a show called the Ex-Loves of Talk Show Hosts.
Yeah.
And we had Oprah Winfrey's ex-boyfriend, and we had Jenny Jones for his husband. And then we had some of Larry King's ex-girlfriends, and we had to actually have the audience give up some of their chairs. They just kept coming in and coming in. And of course, that was my high school.
We want to invite you to dine with us. We're getting breakfast for Anthrax. You might want to choose from that menu or another one, because you know Anthrax is here.
Yep.
And how long does it take to walk to the moon? You're going to find out, right, Jim?
Fly me to the moon and let me sleep among the stars. Hey, wait a minute. How long is this going to take, and who are the stars?
There's a lot of sports out there. FX has them covered. The FX Sports Show, live Sundays at 11 Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
It's 1 minute to the top of the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom. Earth the Kid sitting in for Lori, Bob the Puppet, and me, Jim. I am the announcer. And here's Tom and Eartha and Danny Bonaducci.
Oh, wow. And the Bobster back there. The only one not to have a rib crack.
I have no scars on me yet.
Oh, the day is young, my friend.
One can hope.
Eartha Kitt, our celebrity co-host du jour. Lori back on Monday. Tomorrow, Jody Watley will be filling in for Lori. She's great. She's great. Also, Betty Buckley from Sunset Boulevard here on Broadway, and Valerie Bertinelli will be with us as well. And I understand that Anthrax they're making their way down. Play some more. Wow.
Oh, wow. There's nothing like a love song, is there?
This is going to be their first ever acoustic performance on television, anyway.
That was it.
Let's welcome Anthrax! Can you say Satan? I think so. How are you? Good to have you here.
So
Welcome.
that's him.
Come on in. Meet Danny Bonaducci, Eartha Kitt. How are you, Anthrax?
Nice to meet you.
All right, nice to meet you. Bob's over there, and we're going to kick off hour number 2 of Breakfast Time.
Can you imagine if you invented the chicken? Think about it. It runs on dirt and it makes food. It reproduces itself for free. You don't have those pesky problems with strikes or job actions. They are low maintenance. They are self-starting at the crack of dawn. Sure, there's the smell, but... Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom Bergeron. Eartha Kitt sitting in for Lori Hibbert and Bob the Puppet. My name's Jim. I'm the announcer to say good morning. Here's Tom and Bob and Eartha and Danny Bonaducci.
This is just too cool. Isn't this like...
Man, that was Anthrax.
I know.
How weird is that?
And
And the one thing I adore about you, Danny, is that you have such a marvelous sense of humor about yourself.
Why, thank you.
I'm quite sure that is what saved you.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah. Keep it up.
Are you two done?
Eartha likes me bad.
Quick, one of you say something nice about Tom.
Never mind. We've got some of the finest affiliates from TCI in the Northeast. They're here enjoying Breakfast Time with us. Give
We
yourselves
love
a hand. TCI cable people. Anthrax getting Mike. And this hour, we got a lot of stuff. You're going to be talking to Sheena Henkin, Eartha, about our addiction with self-help books in this country.
Oh, man, and I have to leave before an addiction segment? I'm an expert.
This is only about books, darling.
Oh, okay.
He's got
I think I smoked one or two of those.
And heaven knows which segments that were scheduled for the second hour are never going to see the light of day today. We do know that we'll be going back to Sperry, Oklahoma, John Davis, with the Oklahoma Farriers College, and some students there, too, this hour. Right, J.D.?
That's right, some students and a master farrier, Bud Beeston, back here, and we're going to find out how they shoe the horses and why they decide to get into this type of a business. But look at this horse, Tom. This is a swayback nag, which is 38 years old. It's the oldest horse that Bud has ever heard of, and if it wasn't for proper shoeing, this horse would have been put down a long time ago. That equates to about 114 years old. So she needs orthopedic shoes.
Yeah,
Wow.
the George Burns of horses
that's
right
right.
there.
That's right.
Willard Scott could ride that horse.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, they sent it a card. Cassandra Dans, Mrs. Green Thumbs, is still out in the sub-zero temperatures in Madison Square Park. It's the final chapter of the transformation of our backyard, isn't it, Cassandra? Cassandra.
Yeah.
She's busy, man. Guess what? You're on national television. Be glib.
Now he tells me.
Yeah, we're going to put the benches in today, right?
Right. It's really simple and they're wonderful.
Gee, that's what I used to put books on in college. It looks like. So that's coming up. I'll be going outside to partake in the.
You're going out?
Yeah. Well, you best. You stay here. You want to get the news going?
Oh, I'm throwing the news.
Hi everyone, Vernon Shaw hanging out with you this Sunday, December 3rd, with a look at what's making headlines on FX. Topping the news, A skeptical U.S. congressional delegation is expected to visit Sarajevo today. They're concerned about the safety of U.S. troops on the Bosnian peacekeeping mission. Meanwhile, in Wyoming, Republican Senator Alan Simpson said yesterday he will not seek re-election in 1996. He'll have spent 18 years in Congress when his term ends. In Oklahoma City, investigators of the federal building bombing say there is little evidence that a third person is involved. However, many witnesses say they saw Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols with a third man. In Washington, the Education Department has published rules requiring colleges and universities to disclose how much they spend on men's and women's athletics. Now, advocates for women athletics say the new rules will make it easier for them to prove that there's charges of sexual discrimination. And finally, a British tabloid says Princess Diana slips out of her Kensington Palace home every night to visit seriously ill cancer patients. Well, that's a quick look at what's making headlines. I'm Vernon Shaw. Now, here's Jim with a look at the weather.
Check out all of the spiky yellow balls. Look at it. Only Dallas and Chicago are showing fluffy, and Boston are showing fluffy cotton. Spiky yellows everywhere. So, of course, they still have lingering showers in the northwest. But things have been this is about as clear as you can get things in this great nation of ours. Let's look at those high temperatures. And as you can see, what happens is it looks like way off in the western states there, somebody squeezed all those colors together. But look how they squirted out to the east in actually pretty neat pattern there. And even a little 80s down in Texas and Florida there come out, and that's the weather.
We have to say goodbye to Danny Bonaduce.
Danny, I'm taking
Looks like I'll be staying a little while.
Danny
We'll take a break, and I'm going to call my agent. Jim House is coming up.
We're going to find out how easy and far it is to walk to the moon, to the sun, to Alpha Centauri, to the end of the Milky Way.
Dear FX wants you to celebrate the true meaning of the holiday season by giving a toy to a child in need.
Toys for Tots is a U.S. Marine Corps program that has been giving gifts to deserving kids for the past 48 Christmases.
So put on your Santa cap and spread some holiday cheer. It's easy. When you're out shopping, just pick up an extra toy, then take it to the Toys for Tots Collection Center in your neighborhood. Make sure the gift you donate is a new toy in its original packaging.
Your helping hand can put a big smile on a kid's face this holiday season.
Grab a gift and give, because here at FX, we're doing the same thing.
We're collecting toys from everyone here at FX. Show host, staff, crew, we're all pitching in.
All the gifts from FX will be distributed by Toys for Tots to underprivileged kids in our neighborhood.
If you don't know where to drop off toys in your neighborhood, call your local Marine Corps Reserve and find out the collection center closest to you.
Join FX and give a toy. Together, we'll be making a big difference for kids this holiday season.
FX, Parker Brothers, and Milton Bradley salute the Marine Reserves for the 1995 Toys for Tots campaign.
It's 9 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom, Earth the Kid sitting in for Lori, Bob the Puppet, and me, Jim. I'm the announcer, and here's Tom and Eartha and Phil.
And the Kiwi boy, Phil Kogan.
Hey,
on the
Kiwi
road. How about a
boy.
hand for Earth the Kid?
Yay!
Celebrity co-host of yours. You're such a treat. You really are. I've never taken as much bruising during a show, but still. Now, you know, one of the things we do, we like to have fun and keep folks entertained and such, but you know, if you're a regular viewer, that we also, what is it, Paul? Information, information, information. So the credo of noted producer Paul Schables, and he usually forgets where he's going after the second information.
Yeah, you normally can only remember to say it twice.
Yeah. And you know, we like to take the questions that all America is asking and answer them. And one of the key questions, I think, that you've probably heard by the water cooler where you are, is how long would it take to get to the moon, the sun, the next star, and the end of the galaxy by various means of transportation? I mean, I'm sure that's been all the talk of where you live.
Of course.
Good, she's playing along.
What's a jet? How long does it take a jet to get there?
Well, that's what Phil is going to tell us. Phil Kogan, road warrior, a man who knows travel, is going to answer the questions that perplex a country.
Thank you very much, Tom. If you can have a look here in our own Breakfast Time way, we have set up the Milky Way. This is our galaxy right here. Cool. And as you mentioned, we are going to go on a journey to the moon, to the sun, to the nearest star, and the end of the Milky Way with some of our TCI volunteers. And yes, they did volunteer.
Phil,
yes.
When you travel, is it important to wear a geeky hat?
Absolutely. It's imperative that you wear a geeky hat like this because we are, of course, going into space.
Right.
And we need to be able to breathe. All right. Now, we have four means of transport here. We have a rocket ship, a plane, a car, and someone is also going to walk. And we're going to talk about how long it takes to get to these various points in our Milky Way.
Cool.
So first of all, our rocket ship traveling at 134,000 miles an hour to get to the moon would take, sir, 2 hours at a consistent speed.
Cool.
If we went in a jet at 760 miles an hour...
Do they serve dinner?
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay.
It would take 2 weeks, so you got plenty of time for dinner and movies. At 60
cool.
miles an hour in a car, it would take, if we could reveal that, sir, with your lovely green helmet, it would take 6 months. And if you were to walk at 4 miles an hour to the moon, it would take you, I believe, 7 years. Correct.
7
All right.
years walking to the moon.
Let's go to the sun. If we were going to the sun, it would take 1 month in a rocket ship. If we were to go in a jet plane, it would take, sir, 14 years. If we were to go in a car, it would take, it's a very rough ride all the way to the sun, 177 years. And if we were to walk...
Bring those Ray-Bans.
Let's see if we're still alive. Walking to the sun,
Oh,
2,654.
no.
You'll be dead.
You'll be dead.
Anyway, let's go to Alpha Centauri, which is the nearest star to the Earth, outside
After
of course,
ours,
after
yeah.
the sun, of course.
Yeah.
27 trillion miles away, as you can see there.
Wow.
And it would take... Whoops, no, you dropped that one.
Premature calculation.
Premature card release there. 20,000 years to get to the first star. Sir, if you wouldn't mind traveling across here to
that's a
star
TCI
and
technician,
reveal
is that it?
3.5 million years in a car. If you were to drive, boy, it would take a long time. 45 million years, and if you were to walk, our slow little walker at 4 miles an hour, 675 million
Better
years.
get started now.
Now let's go way out, Tom. Let's go out here to the sugary part of our galaxy, out to the Milky Way there. 800 million years at 134,000 miles an hour in a rocket ship.
Now, Phil,
yes.
Our galaxy, the Milky Way, is one of only billions of galaxies in the universe, right?
Absolutely.
Amazing.
Amazing. Yes, come here, sir. Travel across here in a car at 60 miles an hour, 1.8 trillion. And if you were to walk, if you had the inclination, to the end of the Milky Way, 27
Do you want to see
trillion
more? Do you want to see
years.
more?
Would you like to see more, sir?
National debt.
Absolutely amazing. And there is more?
One more thing I want to point out here. Now, if we were to take our galaxy, right, our Milky Way system, and have it represented by a grain of sugar. You can see I've got a whole lot of grains of sugar here on my hand, okay?
Yes, yeah.
Now, here is 1 grain of sugar right here. If we could get a shot here, Mike, if you wouldn't mind going right in here. This is 1 grain of sugar, okay?
That's our galaxy?
That's 1 galaxy. Okay, now imagine I take a scoopful of galaxies, and in this teaspoon here, there are 10,000 galaxies, right?
Right, sure.
And I put them in a bowl. Do you think that would represent all the galaxies that there are in the universe?
No! It's a trick question, Tom.
I don't think so.
All right, well, let's take a whole bag of sugar and pour that into the bowl here.
Ooh.
Now, do you think if these represented galaxies, we would have all the galaxies in the universe?
That's going to be it. That's going to be
Obviously not. Let's bring in some sugar here. TCI representatives, pour the sugar into the bowl. Just start pouring it in there. And Tom, you tell me when to stop, when you think we've got enough galaxies.
Oh, that's it.
You think so?
No.
Pour the sugar in there. Keep pouring the sugar in there. Because remembering now that our galaxy is represented by 1 grain, these are all the galaxies that we believe exist in the universe. And you know what? We couldn't even afford to finish this segment. If we wanted to represent every single galaxy, we would have to have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of bags of sugar.
Phil Kogan answering the questions that perplex a country. When we come back, the calorie count of the universe. Jim, what else?
You know it. What did you think? Well, if it's on your foot, you can do something about it. Find out on Breakfast Time.
Hi, I'm Yvonne Craig, Batgirl from The Batman Show, and you're watching FX, the official Bat channel, day and night.
It's 17 minutes past the hour. Welcome back to Breakfast Time with Tom. Eartha Kidd sitting in for Lloyd. Bob the Puppet and me, Jim. I'm the announcer, and here's Eartha.
Well, Tom, the Anthrax are here. And, yes. And Tom is outside in the garden. And maybe I'll bring Satan over to warm things up. Come over here, Satan. Please, Satan. Let's see how warm you can make things down.
Well, I could use some help, actually.
Now, this week marks the final week of our 6 weeks transformation of the mudded area on the northwest corner of Madison Square. Madison Square
This
Park.
is it. What we've done, Eartha, is turn this part of our backyard into what we're calling our Breakfast Time Oasis. And this is our final part, at least for this season. We're going to also ask Cassandra what we might be doing to it come springtime. But for right now, the final chapter in this series we started in 1978. Cassandra Dance, we're going to put in the bench. Mrs. Green Thumb.
Because now the quote that I read of yours is that without a place to sit, a garden is just a hallway.
That's right,
Is that
because when you have the real secret of making a boring backyard, which most of us have, into a great garden, is a place to sit.
Is it more important than picking the flowers or what?
It is. It's actually more, because you can have anything. You can have weeds out there, but if you have a bench, and what you do is you stand at your back door and you put the bench some distance from the back door.
You put it by the sign
like
that says
a bench. Right, exactly.
Okay.
And then you put your garden between the bench, and the bench is facing you.
Right.
Between the bench and the door is the garden.
Cool.
And you can do that anywhere, and that's like instant, clever how to garden making.
Wow, yeah.
All right, now, bench making. Bench can be anything, and I'm showing you just the simplest things, the simplest ways to make it. This is, as you see, is a bunch of cinder blocks. And Tom, you want to throw this on here? This is medium density fiber board, and which is pretty strong. And what you should do when you get, if you have wooden benches, you should take a little sandpaper and sand the corners a little bit. Then you can paint them, because if you're nude in the garden, you don't want to get splinters.
Yeah.
All right, now, the other thing about benches is you can be very clever in finding benches
Don't even ask,
that you can get for free. We got this from the Parks Department. You see, it needs a little repair. Well, every municipality in the country practically, and there are lots of parks departments in the United States, and you'd be amazed at what they throw out.
I probably would be.
They'd be willing to let you have it, and you can do a little fixing up, and you can get these things for
The
nothing.
birds were trying to buy that. They made deposits on it.
Now, this is my favorite. This is simply...
This is great.
So, isn't this great?
These are benches for lonely people.
Sure, but you can make it bigger if you want for our purposes. This is stone. It's just stones piled onto each other. These are Belgian blocks. And this is a nice piece of rock that we just found somebody under. And then we put it right on top like that. And it's very attractive. Now, eventually moss will grow on this rock. And it's really very, very pretty.
Yeah.
And that's
Nothing more attractive than a butt full of moss, huh?
Well, depends.
Cassandra, Tom.
Yes, Eartha,
I've also seen people cut down their trees that are no longer live.
That's
and
right.
they make stumps that are seatable size in the garden.
That's right, stumps. I heard that.
Yeah, which is nice. We had a tiki carver the other day, Eartha, who used fallen trees in the Florida area to create tiki sculpture. So another case in point there. Now, when we come to springtime, are you shaking that wood for any reason?
Oh, that's right. I didn't show you the other thing.
All right, they're over here. They're like, they've called their relatives. I'm going to be on.
Okay. All right, what this is this shows particle board, which is pretty good to use.
Yeah.
This is particle board that has been covered with a material that makes it a little stronger.
Yes.
But the best material to use if you're using wood to make benches is plywood.
Plywood.
Oh, yeah. And 1-inch plywood.
Now, in closing, what's going to happen? You got your FaceTime. Now, back off. In the spring, what's going to be happening here?
Oh, man, this is going to be fabulous. First of all, we're going to seed this up. There's going to be some grass. And we have hundreds of bulbs. We work like dogs. And we put in lots and lots of bulbs here.
All right.
It's going to be beautiful.
Is there anything that you can grow outside at this time of the year that blossoms?
Yeah, could you plant anything that would grow now, where it's getting so cold?
Not around here.
No, not here.
No.
Let's let them do the... thank you, first of all, Cassandra. That's all we can do at this time of year for the Breakfast Time Oasis, but in the springtime, it shall bloom. Would the three of you throw to news, since you're so desperate to get on camera?
Look, they're bored.
What's coming up on the news?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Vernon Shaw taking a quick look at what's making headlines this Sunday, December 3rd. President Clinton has ordered the first wave of U.S. troops to Bosnia. Clinton today announced the deployment of 700 Americans. Now, he's expected to order the remaining troops in after the peace accord is signed later this month. Top Republicans say they don't like the plan, but they will not try to stop the deployment. In medical news, 3 new reports on breast cancer confirm that for small tumors detected at an early stage, surgery followed by radiation is as effective as removing the entire breast. And in sports and college football, Army drove 99 yards for a late fourth-quarter touchdown to beat Navy in a 1-point victory yesterday. And finally, Big Bird is reportedly going to China. That's right. Shanghai Television will co-produce 130 Chinese episodes of Sesame Street. That's a quick look at what's making headlines. I'm Vernon Shaw. Now here's Jim with the weather.
Check out all of the spiky yellow balls. Look at it. Only Dallas and Chicago are showing fluff, and Boston are showing fluffy cotton. Spiky yellows everywhere else. Of course, they still have lingering showers in the northwest. But things have been this is about as clear as you can get things in this great nation of ours. Let's look at those high temperatures. And as you can see, what happens is it looks like way off in the western states there, somebody squeezed all those colors together. But look how they squirted out to the east in actually pretty neat pattern there. And even a little 80s down in Texas and Florida there come out, and that's the weather.
Well, we're back. And it's with the anthrax and Sheena, who's going to analyze the anthrax to see if Okay, you, darling. Oh, we're going to a break, is that it? All right, so we're going to a break.
That's right. And we'll have self-help books. Are they helping anyone besides their authors? Sheena's got some thoughts on Breakfast Time.
Biologically speaking, a living organism must respond to its environment. This is not living. It has no feedback system.